You guys have seen me take on some big projects in the past, but what's behind this old rusty door is going to be the biggest and craziest yet. Hey everybody, welcome back to the HardCore Fab channel, and yes, you've seen that correctly, we're getting ready to start a new project. This one's a little different, however, though, because rather than starting it here in the shop, the new project is going to be a new shop. Now, if you guys have been following along with the channel for a while, you know that we're pretty well out of room here in the shop. Now that we've got hookers and blow done, I don't have anywhere else other than here to keep it. I've also got Old Crow sitting back here still, and yes, it's almost done. And we've also got the RZR buggy that is pretty well close to being done as well. And even though the buggy isn't staying here and it's going to go, it doesn't leave us a lot of room left here to be able to do some of the builds that I want to do for you guys. Now, I wish that I could say that I had enough money just to be able to call up somebody and build me a brand new building, but that's not the case. We don't have that kind of fundage available to us. So what we ended up doing is going and finding an old building that I feel like we can make work. And by old building, I mean old building. I bought a 1908 flour mill, and it's in pretty rough shape, but the price was right. We picked her up for $1,000, believe it or not. And I think that leaves us a lot of room to be able to do a lot of improvements to it and to make it to where it's going to be something that's going to be functional for us. Plus, I think it's got a really cool vibe inside of it and everything, so I'm excited to show it to you guys. If you guys are interested in checking it out, stick around for a second. I'll take you over there and show you what we got. So let's start here at the front of the building. As you can see, the building is actually all dock high, so we're not going to be able just to drive vehicles straight in and straight out off the road. We are going to have to build a little bit of a ramp. We'll get into more of that here in a second. But right here in this corner of the building, right here in the front, is going to probably be our main area that we're going to be working in, and we'll go in and check that out here in a minute. But then there on the end of it, over there on that side, is going to be all office area, and that's going to be Julie's area, and I don't know what all we'll end up doing over there, but there's a lot of space to do a lot of things. So that's kind of what we got going on here in the front. And in the back, you can see that it's obviously 6 stories tall, and we've got a lot of work to do up there, as you can see as well. Most of you are probably sitting there right now thinking that I'm just completely crazy and I've lost my mind, and you might be right. I don't know, we'll see how it plays out, but I think I've got a vision for it that's going to work out quite well. And yes, I know it's going to be a ton of work and we've got a long road ahead of us, but I think it's going to be a really cool piece in the end, and I think it's going to be neat to bring back another old memory in our town that's going to hopefully be around for another 100+ years like it already has been so far. Originally, there was a big piece that come off the side here for storing grain and stuff in. They've since removed that obviously now, but it's left this side looking pretty ugly. So we've got a lot to address on this side here. There's also a big piece down here where a smokestack was years ago, and we've got a broken up dock and all sorts of things. You can see evidence of where old doors were, windows that need changed, and all of that, of course. And we probably have to address the fire escape over on this side as well. So a lot of work ahead of us just on this one side. So we don't have a lot of ground to the south or to the east of our building. The corner of the dock right here is pretty much our property line, I believe. And that makes cleaning up on this side of the building pretty easy. We don't have a whole lot of stuff to clean up. We've got a little bit of stuff growing here and there, but we do have to address probably that dock a little bit and obviously take these trees out and stuff along here. And you can probably start to see a lot of the broken windows back here on the back of the building. I'm sure it was a fun time for some kids to come back here and grab rocks and start chucking towards glass and just have a good old time, and looks like they've been doing that for years. So it's kind of neat, there is still a little railroad spur that's actually part of the property here. I'm sure they were using this as a warehouse for the flour when they were making it and then loading it out on rail cars. So the fact that that's still here is pretty neat, although it's so overgrown we wouldn't be able to use it, nor would we need to, but still kind of cool that it's there. But it does open up some other things that we need to address, like this old doorway right here that they were using to load the rail cars with is obviously needing something done with it to where we make the building a little bit more secure. I'll probably end up having to put some blocks and stuff in there and maybe just some new bricks or something like that. I don't know, we'll figure out something to patch that in. And then there again, back to the whole window scenario. If anybody has any hookups on that, let me know. So we made it around to the north side of the building, and this doorway right here is going to end up being our main garage door to get things in and out of the building. It's not quite big enough though, is the biggest problem. Right now you can see the doorway is only about 7 foot wide, so we're going to need to make that bigger. Luckily, I think the design of the building is going to lend itself to us being able to open that up and make that bigger pretty easily, so that's not going to be too big of a deal. We are going to have to build a ramp up here on this side though to be able to have a good approach into the building. And over on this side is a pretty big undertaking as far as what we've got to do to clean up over here. This is a disaster over here. There used to be an addition onto the side of the building that went out here at about 175 feet, so there's still a foundation for that all the way around the sides here, and it is also still dock high. So I think what we're going to end up doing is using some of that to our advantage and probably backfilling in here a little bit to kind of help hold the dirt for a ramp, and then probably just put some asphalt millings or something like that on top of that dirt for us to be able to have easy access in and out. Still over here on the north side of the building, but now closer to the front towards the street, we've got the area right here that's all going to end up being office area. This is a 2-story office area, so we'll be able to have kind of a showroom type thing down here in the lower part of it, and then up on the top part there we'll be able to have kind of a more private area or man cave kind of type deal, if you will. There's a couple areas here that still have holes in them for windows to go in, so we'll probably try to put some windows back in those, and for now we'll probably end up just leaving the cinder blocks that are covering up the other windows. And they've got most of this other side over here where there used to be a building, also got most of the windows covered up as well too, so there's not a lot of glass left to change on this side. So we're back around to the front now where we started out, and you can see now that there's the dock that we'll actually be able to use for an actual functioning dock. You can get a full-size semi up against there and still get it out of the road, so that'll be nice for shipping and receiving stuff. And we've got the front doors right here. Funny story there, right after we signed the paperwork on the building, someone runs the stop sign across the street here and runs right into the front of the building and knocks all the glass out of the front of it. So we were going to change that probably anyways, but now, without a doubt, we definitely have to address that pretty quick. Well, if you thought the outside was bad, take a look at the inside here. This is just disgusting. Of course, we got the broken glass and everything everywhere, and that's not that big of a deal to sweep up. But we do have all kinds of stuff in here we need to rip out. This is the only bathroom that we have over here in this corner, and that's obviously all trash. All the drywall and everything through here is all trash. Those 2 windows are the windows that we are going to put back in. And the walls here, all this stuff, just trash everywhere. So I'm going to rip out this counter right here, rip out the walls back there. But fortunately, it looks like the ceiling, the floor, and everything here is all made out of concrete. Even these stairs over here are made out of concrete. So I think once we get all of this garbage ripped out of here, then it'll actually be a pretty solid base here to start working with. So that's enough of that. I'll go up here and show you the top side here real quick of the office area, and then we'll get out here and actually look at the shop area, the cool part, the part we all want to see. So yeah, the top of the stairs up here is more of the same as there is downstairs. A bunch of just nasty crap that needs to go mostly to the dump. There's a little bit of metal salvage in here, like some lights and drop ceiling and stuff like that, but overall it's pretty much just all trash that needs to go to the dump. And I think cleaning this up is going to be a huge improvement in these areas, because once we got all this stuff out of here, we'll have a big giant open space, and there again we've got concrete ceiling, concrete floor, so pretty good base to start with, and the walls are all brick and everything. Of course, we've got the one window here that you can see on the outside, so we'll have that window back in there, which is already letting in a lot of natural light, and just that one little piece of board gone. And Julie would like to throw another window back in up in here, so we'll see how that goes. We might be able to get that done, but the big showpiece that's going to be up here to check out is this right here. Really cool old fireplace, so it'd be pretty awesome to get that thing all redone and have that being the main focal point up here. And like I said, I think probably turn this whole area into like a man cave area or something. It's kind of a little private hangout spot for me, so it'd be cool to have a pool table and, you know, all that kind of stuff up here. This room has got another little room back here on the back side of it, but then it opens up to a door Let me flip the camera around. Opens up to a doorway that either starts to go upstairs onto the second floor of the building, and we'll come back up and check that out in a minute. And then back here, we have got the actual shop area that we're going to be using. So this is a pretty cool big space. We're about 80 foot from where I'm standing to the other side of the wall, and then across from left to right, we're looking at about 40 foot. And I am currently probably about 16 foot up in the air right now. So really tall ceilings, really big open space, so that's pretty awesome. We go downstairs here and get you a little better look. Got some metal stairs here, and they're kind of jacked up as well. Got to be really careful because they bounced semi-wheels and tires down these and bent them all up, so they're not flat. They want to dump you off. All right, so slow down here so the camera can pick up since there's hardly any light in here. So back over here in this area, that is going back into the office where we started out at. So we've got a door to come in back here. That door back here is going to be the doorway that I'm planning on trying to make bigger and be our main entrance into the building. So we've got that to deal with. There's some forklifts stuck in front of there right now. And then, slow down. We do have a door over here on this other end, but the ground doesn't extend out long enough to be able to get a good ramp in back there, so we're not going to actually be able to probably use that as a door to get in and out of the building. Over here on this part, that's kind of extended up in here, is our elevator shaft. So it's pretty sweet that the building does actually have an elevator, but it is not working, and that is the main reason why the guy that I bought it from didn't want it anymore, is because the thieves got in here and stole the wiring out of the elevator. And when they did that, of course, it made it not work anymore. You see, there's not enough light, sorry. Should have brought a flashlight, but I didn't bring one, so there you go. Anyways, you can kind of get a look there. There's a elevator right there, and then over here is stairs going down into the basement, and I didn't bring my pistol, so I'm not going down there. We'll do that on another day. There's a bunch of just random crap that's still kind of just left in here, so need to clean up all that kind of stuff, and then, yeah. Well, now we got a train, so let me go up here in the front room and let the train go by. I'll show you what's going on up there. So this area is the area that I'm most excited to show you guys, and this is going to be what you're going to be seeing a lot of on YouTube here in the near future, because this is going to be my new work area. This is a little bit bigger than what we're in right now. My shop that I'm in right now is 50 by 60, and this is about 50 by 60, but my shop now has a office area that takes up about 20 foot on one side of that. So I'm really in about a 30 by 60 area that I'm working right now. One of the biggest problems in this area, though, is going to be the fact that we don't have any electricity. You can kind of see over here that they've stripped out most of the big wiring that's in the building. There's a little bit of 110 stuff left in here, but for the most part, most of the wiring is gone. There's a section right there. You can kind of see where that light switch is. It goes up, and kind of follow that around over here. And there's a little bit of a grid for some lights and some stuff like that still left in here that might still be usable, but for the most part, most of it's gone. Since we're looking up here, I've got 18-foot tall ceilings in this area, so that is freaking awesome. There's also these big giant pieces of I-beam up in here, so I might be able to figure out some way to use some of that and make an overhead crane system or something. And if so, that'd be great. If not, not a big deal. This side over here has got a concrete pillar and beam on it, so that's kind of weird. We've got a couple of big windows over here on this wall, so that'd be kind of cool to put those back in. I'm not sure about these particular ones here. We might end up blocking those back in since they're so low and they're not in real great shape. Got a bunch of wood and lumber over here that I need to go through. I think a bunch of this might still be salvageable. Some cross members and stuff in there for some pallet racking and some pallets and stuff, but a little bit of trash and everything in there too. So we'll go through and sort that stuff all out. I'm excited to see what all is in there, and I'm really excited to be able to get started working on this area. So yeah, that is our new shop area. All right, let's go upstairs real quick and give you guys a view of what everything's like up there. We've got one staircase going up. Other than the elevator, this is the only way up. So back up the bent up metal stairs here to the top platform where we can either turn and go back in the office in the top here, where we just were at a minute ago. And now we go upstairs into the actual second level of the warehouse part. Up here, we actually have light because we have no windows. And we still have more of a mess of shit that just needs to have something done with it. Now, the guy that had this building before has a business where he redoes pallets, and this is all broke down pallet lumber all through here. So that's what he was using this building for, was storing all this stuff. And at the point where the elevator got trashed, he was no longer able to get this stuff down. So this stuff is all just kind of stranded up here at the moment. So here's a better look at where our elevator shaft is at. Elevator is down at the first floor, so definitely dangerous at this point to have this opened up. So I need to address that pretty soon. Get a good look all the way up. So right here, this is pretty crazy right in this area. You can kind of see those cans of stuff there on the floor and all this burnt, charred stuff. Some kids actually got in here a while back and they set some semi-tires on fire that were up here. And luckily, since the building's all concrete, it didn't really do any damage. Other than you can see kind of some paint burn off up there and stuff. But unfortunately, when the fire department was here, they knocked out a lot of the windows trying to get the smoke out of the building because of, all this lumber. They wanted to make sure that, it wasn't going to flame up, because it could have maybe actually damaged the building if all that lumber would have caught on fire maybe. So they knocked out a bunch of windows trying to get the stuff, all the smoke and stuff out of here. Not to mention that there was already a bunch of windows knocked out to begin with. So yeah, this just kind of left the whole place kind of trashed. Let me go ahead and go up to the next floor. These stairs suck. And so there's my hand, and my hand's about 9 inches, so it's about 8 inches wide, and then they're right about 9 inches tall. So upstairs here on the second floor, we have got more lumber. Imagine that. Basically the same thing as we was down below. Also more nastiness and sheetrock and crap to clean up. And a lot more broken windows. And a lot more steep stairs. Here again, another floor full of lumber. Yeah, that's just crazy. Can't even imagine how many pallets are actually in here. Well, we made it to the 5th floor, and the 5th floor actually doesn't have any lumber on it. So that's pretty awesome. We do have one floor that's finally emptied out. So yeah, that's pretty neat. You get to see how big of a space this really is. And there's a ton of potential to do all kinds of stuff up here. I'm either gonna hoard a whole shit ton of stuff, or I don't know, figure out something to do with all the space. So I'm sure it'll fill up pretty quick. It doesn't take long these days, it doesn't seem like, but of course first I have to fix that elevator. Otherwise we're not gonna be able to do anything up here really, because stairs suck. So anyways, yeah, there's a lot of graffiti up here. So some of it's actually pretty cool. I want to keep some of it, but some of it not so much. So probably end up painting over some of that, but leaving some of it. So I don't know, we'll see what all happens up here, but it's probably going to end up being, I don't know, who knows, literally probably a year or two or whatever down the road before I do anything up here, because I have to fix the elevator and there's so much other stuff that I need to do that's even more important than that. So yeah. So we got one more floor left to do, so walk up here real quick and give you guys a view outside. All right, so top floor. There again, concrete ceiling. So that's pretty awesome. Got a concrete roof throughout the whole building, concrete floor, of course. And the position of the posts up here are different. So I thought that was kind of a weird deal that they changed those up here, but probably made sense back in the day for somebody. So yeah. Well, let's go over here in our window. I'll give you guys a look out towards town. Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't know, G loves yoga pants. Just a FYI. There you guys go. Big metropolis of Hutchinson, Kansas right there. So yeah, in the middle of Kansas where I live here, that is a pretty good view because we don't have much for hills around the area, and we also don't have any buildings that are really much more than a couple of stories usually. So yeah, quite the view here. So really happy with that, and I guess with that, that's about all I got for you guys on this video because we're all the way to the top. I guess there is a ladder over there to go to the roof, but it's pretty sketchy. I'm not going up that. So yeah, we'll have to do a roof view at some other time. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you're interested in seeing how the building turns out, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the little bell next to it so you get the notifications of when the next video of us working on it comes out. And I guess with that, that's all I got for you guys on today's video. See you next time.